Hello everyone. Today we will tell you a little bit more about the beautiful country of Liberia and how to do business there. Before jumping right into it, let's first take a glance at the general overview of the country. The landscapes of Liberia range very widely, and this can be very good for businesses because the different type of lands can bring different type of opportunities. Liberia is mostly known for its richness in natural resources such as diamonds, timber, iron, and gold. Let's take a look at the political environment. Not often known, Liberia is actually the oldest independent republic of Africa. The country was founded in 1822 as a place for freeborn Afro-Americans or freed African slaves that returned from the US. Liberia's history is actually characterized by two civil wars, ranging from 1989 until 2005. Both were incredibly violent conflicts with human rights being violated, thousands of civilians being killed, and child recruitment into the armies. But right now, the current legal system is based on the one of the United States. The president, George Weah, is both head of states and the head of the government, and it includes a national legislative assembly that consists of a House of Representatives and a Senate. Furthermore, Liberia is also divided into 15 counties, and each of these counties have their own local government. A very important aspect that you should know about Liberia is that corruption is a part of almost all aspects of life, and many do not respect the law. This has to be taken into account when you want to invest in Liberia, but the government is working on trying to improve this. The socio-economical environment of Liberia is quite complex. Liberia's economy has faced a lot of challenges. The two civil wars impacted the economy a lot, and it caused the infrastructure to be destroyed, and many businesses also fled the country. Therefore, Liberia still remains a low-income country until today, and it is still heavily reliable on foreign assistance. However, despite the big impact of the civil wars and the Ebola virus outbreak, the Liberian GDP has actually been increasing ever since 2006. The last thing I want to tell you guys is that poverty in Liberia remains a key problem that must be improved soon. More than half of the population actually lives under the poverty line and were unable to meet their basic needs. This also impacts, obviously, the purchasing power of the population and is something that has to be taken into account by businesses.
Starting a business in Liberia. Liberia is a country with great potential thanks to many reasons. In this slide, we will sum up a few positive as negative aspects of starting a business there. To start off, yes, thank you. To start with the positive aspects, we have raw material. Liberia is a big exporter in gold, diamonds, and rubber. They are also in the top 3 of cocoa production, palm oil, and the consumption of rice. They are very motivated and believe their economy will have a strong turn in the near future. They, as I mentioned, they are important exporter and appreciate business settling there. As for the negative aspect, I would say poor infrastructure. This makes moving yourself from point A to B difficult and time consuming. The different laws and regulation, you have to adapt to their politics and law system. And the different culture is, despite being a small country, they have many subcultures you have to learn about and adapt to. In this table, we see 6 different company types, but we will talk mainly about the LLC, the Liberian Limited Liability Company, since that is the most beneficial and interesting for an international company. This means you do not need a registered address in Liberia itself. You do not need a big amount of money to start your company there, but you do need 2 partners settled in Liberia itself. This company protects you from and limits the liabilities of your own personal bank accounts. And it does not require you to be daily active in the company itself. As for location, you want your business to be approachable and surrounded by the goods you need. Having a good place to settle is one of the 4 important pieces of the marketing mix. Despite the location and atmosphere, of course, also the approachability, there is another important factor, which is the subculture of the region itself. It is important to blend yourself with the locals, learn about the culture, make the system, adapt to the system, and make it clear that you want to settle there or not.
To continue the topic of starting a business in Liberia, all the companies of Liberia is obliged to pay the corporate tax of 25% if you are a general company, and 30% if you are a mining or petroleum company. The VAT is 7%, and then the withholding tax is 15%. Further, the capital gains tax, which is taxed on the sale of property or assets, is the normal corporate taxes in Liberia, which is 25% again. Then there is a GST, goods and service tax, and it is imposed on the supply of goods and services and on importation of goods. This tax varies as per the type of supplies. 15% of personal tax has to be paid on an individual's income, which is derived from the economic benefits. Government laws. According to the government, both domestic and foreign private entities can access their business enterprises in many sectors, but only the Liberian citizens are entitled to acquire the land, which basically means that non-citizens do not have a permission to own a land in Liberia. Then the minimum capital investment is 500,000 US dollars. And on the other hand, Liberia enjoys 2 currencies, the Liberian dollars and the US dollars. Also, the Liberian government incorporates World Trade Organization requirements to encourage free market economy by promoting fair competition. A Special Economic Zone (SEZ) steering company has been established by the government in 2019, which with the motto to create, drive, guide, enhance, coordinate, and manage single, multiple, and mixed use of SEZs in Liberia. Investment sectors. So now I'm going to talk about the investment sectors of Liberia. All-inclusive, Liberia offers plenty of business opportunities in its sectors. The main sector for the investment in Liberia is agriculture and forestry, because it is a primary livelihood of more than 60% of Liberian population and has a great demand in and outside the country as well. In agriculture and forestry, there are some commodities that has a great prospect and demand in Liberia, like rubber, cocoa, and rice. But my colleague will talk in detail about these sectors later.
Let's talk about the cultural aspects of Liberia that are really important to know about if wanting to handle business with them. So first of all, Liberia is one of the fewest countries that had been founded by slaves from South America. So when they came to America, they imported with them different cultures, which resulted in an ethnic division after. And this is also one of the reasons why there has been a civil war. But after 14 years of war in 2005, Liberia stopped the war, lowered their weapons, and settled to actually create a new Liberia. Now, host data analysis. So first of all, for power distance, they scored pretty high. In Liberia, there are or rich or poor people, so no middle. So no people that are in the middle. And in a company, the person that has the highest position is the one that has the more to say. Then Liberia is also a cultivated country, so since young, they are taught to work hard to support their families and communities. When it comes to relationship with friends, they are also considered as family. And when it comes to work, the people that you work with, so your coworkers and your boss, they actually have a family link relationship. Liberia is also a country that scores low on long-term orientation, so they have a big respect for traditions. They prefer achieving quick results fast, so they don't think about long-term orientation, and they have a normative way of thinking. They also score high on indulgence, so even though they're one of the poorest countries in the world, they enjoy life and think in a positive way. When it comes to business etiquettes, dress code is really important, so they have two ways of dressing. They or dress in our usual way, so really formal, a formal suit or formal dress. But they can also wear traditional attire. They also greet, so greeting, they usually handshake and sometimes end with a snap. And for the behavior, punctuality is very important, so they wait for people to be punctual, and also eye contact is very important when greeting someone.
How to industrialize Liberia. Next slide, please. As we already know, Liberia, these are the main three factors Liberia is facing. Liberia is a poor country, which we already know, which they lag behind, education, technology. Liberia is also good in agriculture, but these are the two main things that they are not really good at, like they are lacking behind. One is the education level. Liberia lack the education system of like a classroom, and they are being overcrowded. Like 42% of the children are drop out of school, while 20% of them when they finish the secondary school, they can't even read all right. When it comes to technology, Liberia needs to improve and needs Western companies to industrialize them, and also like improve the telecommunication on how to communicate. Liberia also produces phone, but they are not really that good in technology. So when it comes to technology, Liberia is still back, I'm going to say it, like in the olden days. Agriculture is their top priority and main commodity in Liberia. Next slide, please. As my colleague already said in the previous slide, here are the three main factors, sectors to invest in Liberia: the rubber, which is the main primary sector, and the rice, which is also their rice, which is also their main sector in agriculture, and cocoa, which is their third major commodity consumer. And rubber is the main sector in agriculture because they produces more rubber in a year, and this is a good place to invest in as a foreign investor. And rice is also a good business, is somewhere where you can also like invest in your in terms of investing in Liberia. Rice is also their local dish, which is being consumed daily on a daily basis, and they also sell rice. And cocoa here, on the other hand, they produces cocoa, but they don't. Liberia does not produce chocolate. So what they do is Liberia produces cocoa and cultivate it, and then sell it out to the neighboring country and also to the Western world. Yeah, it's like thank you. This is our presentation. That was it all about Liberia. Liberia is open for business.